Took 1,000,000 of your Earth years for the Pleiadians to have the ability to see this planet. 200,000 years ago, they did it. 100,000 before that is when life began on this planet in a significant way. And I'm not going to give you what significant way is that led to you. Now here is what I'm talking about. There is a plan, a process of what we will call galactic evolvement, where certain populations in certain star systems become aware. And the power that is created from that awareness builds upon itself and accelerates until they're able to actually create themselves in a quantum energy, where life itself can be bottled in a quantum energy. Transportation is instant. All of these things, it is a meld between biology and technology that I cannot explain to you. It is not robotic. It is the human being being able to create, with help from technology, that they create with inside them. Difficult to explain. My partner is not getting the picture. He cannot, any more than George Washington got the internet. So let us just say that it existed. When the Pleiadians were at a state where we knew what they would do, where they knew what they would do, this planet started to change in preparation for them. You might say they passed a marker in their evolvement. Now, here's what I want to tell you, human being. You're passing a marker right now. It has the potential of their marker a long time from now. But things take a long time to evolve on certain kinds of planets, depending upon the sustainability of certain kinds of life. Right now, I would like to tell you what is going on somewhere else in your galaxy. It is the beginning of those you will seed. There'll come a time when you will fill the role the Pleiadians filled with you. And what we want to tell you, which you may find hard to believe, is that you were there in the Seven Sisters as Pleiadians, and now you're here as humans, and you will also be part of the next phase. It is endless. And you've got the time for it. The plan has that which is energetic and divine sweeps over the galaxy and changes its physics. It changes who it is and what it is. It changes the universe. There is a larger picture at hand. And those that you would call, for instance, those that are not Pleiadian, and you would wonder what their role is in the galaxy, and you've talked to them and you've named them and books are written about them, I want to tell you they are the forerunners of the Pleiadians. They seeded each other. That's how that worked. That's the history of humanity. If you could see what we see. The Akashic record that is inside your DNA is earth-based only. It doesn't go back any further than that. That's an honor of the biology and Gaia. It's an honor of the cave of creation. No matter how good your past life reader is, she's not going to read you as a Pleiadian. He might do something different, he, she, and say so, but it's not there to read. It is not there to read. So the history of humanity is longer than you think. But if you could see what we see, it starts 200,000 years ago. By 100,000 years, you were like you are now. The other kinds of human beings left. There were at least 17 kinds. Just like all the mammals of the planet create variety, and you didn't. Have you ever thought about it? There's only one kind of human being. That is counterintuitive to all of evolution that creates variety. There's only one kind. Many colors, but one kind. If you take a look at that, there is an indictment right there that you are not part of earth evolvement. There is no missing link unless you want to go to the Seven Sisters. And that's where you'll find it. And that's where we started talking to you, dear ones. We see your history from both sides of the veil. How it is when we talk to you before you come in, what we say energetically, what the feelings are, and what you're about. The incredible human being. In the old energy, how do you think it felt, dear one, to be part of divinity and the plan of knowing everything that I know on the other side of the veil, poised and ready to come in? Knowing full well that when you arrived as a human being, you have lost almost everything, all knowledge of who you are, all knowledge of God. All you knew is that you wanted to go home. All you knew, you find all your life, you search for that which loves you, if you noticed, all your life. And those come along and invite you into their box. But it doesn't satisfy you. If it's true you're your own ancients, think about the energies and the things you went through. Willingly. Knowing full well, on my side of the veil, that when you arrived, you might not last very long. Lifespan was short. So many of those old souls in the room died on the battlefield. Do you know that? You had to. Because that's what humanity did. By the hundreds of thousands. How many of you died with plague in the room? Most. You've gone through the waves of humanity, and every single time you came back and we looked at you and said, you're doing it again. And you said, yeah. What are the potentials of that? Why would you do that? That's the incredible human being. That is the history we see. Because you see the conceptual part of what you're doing as part of a big picture that takes you someplace, and I'll tell you where it takes you. It takes you to now. Where you have, against all odds, created the marker that you're going to pass on your way to creating something that no one has predicted. Except those on the other side of the veil who see the energy I see. There is celebration on my side of the veil as you push toward this marker. Humans have free choice. You can change it on a dime. But the potentials are exactly the ones I saw 20 years ago when I said hello to my partner. And I said, consciousness is shifting. Weather is shifting. You're not going to be the same as you were yesterday. There is no returning to normal. Because normal is old. Normal is old. Your country is in a state right now where you're begging to have this over with, are you not? To have the economy you used to have. And for those of you who sit and listen and read who are Americans, you long for the time before the economy went into the dumper, as you would say. How would you feel if I told you there is no going back? Instead, there is a reworking and a recalibration of normal. And it will pull itself out after some other things happen that you don't expect. You've got to recalibrate the system, the very systemic things that you think are the base points of what makes you who you are as an economy, as a country, are going to change. And that's good news. For it's going to change to the better. There's going to be more transparency. And you knew this. I want to tell you the last thing that on the other side of the veil, I saw. Oh, dear ones, how do I explain this? I have said this before so many times. Your history, you know what we see as your history? I'm going to put it into two places here, and I've done this before. I want to put it into two parts. Number one, I want to talk to the seniors, and the second, I want to talk to the young people. The seniors in the room, when you came into this planet, this lifetime, and said goodbye to us, it hadn't changed any. You were heading for a decision point that had you burned alive by nuclear war. And the prophets told you, and your scriptures told you, and it was written in many places, even the ancients gave you the potential. This would be it. It's over. You failed. You had the weaponry, you had the attitude, and it was on its way, and you came in. That's the history we see. Why would you do that? I've given you this information before, but perhaps not in this succinct way. Why would you do that? And I'll tell you that because there was a potential that down the line, thousands of lifetimes of raising your consciousness would eventually pay off today. And it has. And it's only been 25 years that you turned it around. And now you're sitting on something that even you did not expect, senior. You've got the potential for extended life. You've got the potential for peace on the planet, for turning things around in a way that your parents said you couldn't. Why'd you come here when you thought you were going to die? And I'll tell you, that is because on the other side of the veil you have the mind of God. My mind. You see the concepts, you see the potentials, you see those around you you don't even know exist. You see the cheering section you don't know exists. You feel the energy of love that even some of you in the room don't know exists. Right now I want to invite the entourage in, even before it's time to close, to sit in the aisles and stand there as I make pronouncements and I say, you have no idea how honored you are. You're going to do it. That's the potential. It's never changed, senior. Now, to the young person. You come in an energy that is brand new. It was not expected. When I said goodbye to you as an old soul from my side of the veil to this one, I said, as odd as it might seem, you're the one that's going to have to do the hardest work. Paradigm shift comes with a price. And I said yesterday in a private channeling a word, and we're going to give it to you now. And you're going to remember it because it's funny. And it's going to be the paradigm that you're going to have to live with and work with it, and we're going to call it suck. Slow, uncomfortable change. Slow, uncomfortable change. And that's because there is no total, complete collapse and failure in sight. Now that can change. That's how we see you. So the young person in the room is going to have to deal with something that the senior did not. 1 foot in the old energy, 1 foot in the new, straddling it with wisdom and patience. And by the way, senior, that's not what you did in the 60s. You blasted forth. Didn't do any good. It's different today.